to piggyback on what they're, for me, I can remember I never even dreamed that I could possibly be an actor. To me, it was never even something that was attainable. Because at the time, there were really no role models for me, and what was expected of me was to, go to UCLA and be an engineer, which I did. But long story short, after a while, I did get into this business, which was a very jarring for my parents, because they wanted me to get money, and at the time, there was, my mother was saying, there's no one that looks like, so I kind of blindly got into it. Long story short, by the time I got to New York, and I was in the original company of Miss Saigon, and East West Players was a very integral part in that conversation, and I was in the show, and it was, I was actually assistant choreographer with that show, and what I have noticed from 1991 until today, I mean, the growth of our community and the people, the talent pool is tremendous. I want people and young people today to know that the opportunity, I'm just so thrilled, for all of the opportunities that we have today, partly due to East West Players. I mean, my first experience with East West Players was after I had my whole career in New York City, coming back here and, introducing myself to Tim. I said, "What do you need?" And so I just started working with them. But there are good and bad things about being in this business for a long time, because the people who were there in 1991, who went through that whole process of what is an Asian American, why is it important for Asian Americans to portray themselves and all of that, those people retire, and there are new people who come in, and unfortunately or fortunately, we have to explain this over and over and over again. So what I would say to the young people, don't be surprised when this conversation keeps going and keeps going, because we do have to remind people, because there are new people, and we have to remind them that this is important. Which is another reason why East West Players is important, because people can, because there's a reference for people to come to this organization to say, why is this important? And that's what's important about this organization.
Thank you. Okay.